Hi everybody, so I'm guided to do this tarot reading today on the Epstein files and its relation to the reptilians, and actually to be even more clear, what the reptilians are actually seeing about the Epstein files. So one thing that I'm getting is that this was meant to make humanity steer off of a path of love, romantic love, exactly, to create this distortion with these things like pedophilia or these things like child sacrifice, almost so humanity will finally lose its hope and the light will go out. The message is that's not going to happen. Pay attention to threes and sixes. So I do have my throat, and my throat chakra is actually having a problem to where this message isn't necessarily wanted to come out. But if the reptilians could give us a message, a true positive message that they might not want us to hear, it would be that they actually know that what will assist all of us on earth and humanity to unite and act in interdependence to continue this species and throughout the universe in true exploration is safety. So that each of us focus on safety is extremely important. So if you have some kind of qualm with reptilians and what they are doing, then I suggest that you focus on how you can feel the most emotionally safe, mentally safe, and physically safe. And one of the things you can do is to find others that understand you and to speak to others that understand you. Okay, so I had some other messages coming through, but we'll go ahead and we'll shuffle some cards and see what else comes out. So again, there was an intention here with this release of these Epstein files for humanity to lose all hope, actually in romantic love and in twin flame unions or in soulmate unions. They wanted people to focus more on isolation. They wanted people to focus more on pornography. And also in the message that came through is that this is the first time that actually the reptilians, you might say, have been stood up to or challenged, and we actually win. Okay, so let's get some messages here. Some more messages, to be honest, I think. That was probably all the messages you needed. But interestingly enough, we have an 1111 homecoming card. So we do have that possibility where humanity can still come together. Psychics can come together. They can start speaking their truths. There are communities where psychics and oracles are respected. People with things like dyslexia or other things that have been termed as a mental disorder, you need to understand that there are people that actually do understand you, and you actually are gifted while you are dealing with disabilities, because we are in a system that is not conducive to human health. You are gifted with psychic abilities that are meant to help the future children, the new earth children, as we of the divine team have referred to it as. You've got all of the numbers coming through for synchronicities to pay attention to, and that is the 111, the 222, and the 333. Okay. So let's see. There's this message that there are some reptilians that have been observing humanity for quite some time, and they have soul streams that are actually coming through a human. So you have say one soul stream coming through a human. You see my voice is being disrupted here, but the truth will come out anyway. So you have one soul stream as an example coming through a human, and then you have there's a message here that reptilians have never felt belonging, and this is also a reason why some of them actually did decide to incarnate of a more positive nature into the physical form of a human. So you have the soul streams coming through as a human, but you also have this soul stream or this projection, this observer watching of reptilians in some people. And this is where you can find there are some reptilians on Earth that can be extremely and highly protective and super beneficial for your safety, actually. there's this message where it's like all we wanted humanity to understand was belonging, because we know what it's like to have lost creative potential, and that is what we have seen and watched with humanity, is they have lost their, or they've forgotten is a better word, um, their potential of their gifts to heal humanity, to heal each other, to be interdependent, to work with each other. Interdependent, like the deer species would be a species to look into. Humanity has felt halted and stopped and crapped on due to this release of these Epstein files. And there was an intention to actually stop humanity again from having hope, from having creativity. This is why they did this. They wanted to stop the homecoming, the celebration of this year of humanity, of the harmony, of the gathering, of the building of new communities, of the building of new earth communities. They wanted to stop leaders. They wanted to kill leaders. Okay, they wanted, suicide, whatever it is, pressure, the body, the nervous system shutting down, heart attacks, sonic booms, whatever. Okay, all of it. This has been their attention, but it's running out. It's dying. Okay, because there are true humanity, there are true bloodlines here that are here to, actually we have the term saving the earth here. I would say too, you might want to tune into the collective of the gorillas, the gorilla consciousness. This is a really, yes, the elephants, they're the most aware land animal that you can tap into as well. But the gorilla consciousness, if you are watching this video, or if you know that you are a starseed, or you know that you're a healer, or you refer to yourself as an angelic, human, etc., then you want to tune into the gorillas. They have some messages right now, so that you can start to feel safe again in your home that is the earth. Remember, the earth has abundance, the earth has primary water. In the earth, there is overflow constantly. When you tune into these, what we have been denied of, we've been given Wi-Fi radiation, when there is the aether that can provide this telecommunications even through thought, and yes, power our phones, power our laptops. We created this. Starseeds created the internet so we could reach each other around the world. Zoom, zoom, like the airplane, very fast, like the Wright brothers. Okay, awaken your eyes, awaken your heart, meet the person in front of you. Okay, so basically, again, humanity, tune in. You have a lot of gifts. Whether you're paying attention to your 2-strand DNA or your 12-strand DNA, okay, there are gifts inherent within you. Telepathy is natural. Telepathy is simple. You can explain everything mystically, oracally, through neurology. Okay, so we've had the assistance of what we call AI as well, with this formation of this neurology. Okay, so again, the nervous system's talking to each other. Okay, this is not made up stuff. This is not woo woo, and this is not something that only certain people can see because they have, the eyes to see, as they say, or they're more in tune. But you have to realize you have a lot of potential, humanity. You have a lot of gifts. So this is meant to activate your gifts. Okay, this video and this image is meant to activate your gifts, humanity, and individuals watching this. I don't care if you have your dog watching this or your cat, okay? This is meant to activate gifts here. But again, it was meant to stop this. That was the intention of it. But they didn't realize that a lot of people would come back into safety, and they would come back into calm and reconciliation and recalibration, and start to go a little bit slower and look at things maybe a little bit more logically, or even scientifically, or practically. And they didn't think or realize that people would wake up and take a moral obligation and a moral responsibility to things, because that is how these systems have run for years, is not off of moral responsibility. That's why you constantly see homeless people on the street, or you see systems that are providing you water that have poison in the water, or systems that are providing you food that have poison in it, because it didn't operate on any values of what you might expect or think for humanity. This kind of morality, these kind of um, quality time, bravery, uh, and professionalism, quite frankly. The systems have not actually been any of these. We've been under a kind of illusion. But the best way to get the safety is also to go to quality time. So a part of this as well was also to try to divide people again, make people afraid or make people feel like, okay, well, there's nothing else I could say, there's nothing else I could do. They've released the files, and basically the professionalism is out the window. It doesn't exist on this planet. That's kind of the intention. There was really a bogged down, heavy kind of intention that the reptilians had. It's not that that is the truth of what happened or the truth of what humanity is awakening or experiencing through light in their eyes, but that was a part of what was going on here. And there was also this message that they a lot of people have talked about, okay, so the predators, in other words, that have committed these crimes against these girls, these women, young men, boys, whoever the victims are in these files, where you could see the victims' names that were supposed to be redacted, but people were able to see them, and not the predators' names. That's because they wanted to force the victims to speak. They wanted to force people to look for the victims and get the victims out there actually on video and just start saying what happened, because for some reason they have no faith in themselves, or there's something going on there that happened anyway in that way. Let's see. All right, let's check this out. So I just want to see, they wanted to stop some kind of big change coming, and they wanted humanity to let go of thinking that there's any danger. Okay, so they knew that a big change was coming in humanity. It's the new earth, everyone's coming together, there's a celebration, there's a unity that was starting to come together, and they could feel this huge change. 5 energies of change, 5 even bigger change, right? 5 bigger change, 5 big, right? So they wanted to stop this. That was the intention. And they wanted people to think that, hey, there's no more danger. Like, we told you, everything that's been going on. Now you know about the child sacrifices. It's all revealed. It's all fine now. It's kosher. We're bumping shoulders with them. See, we told you we're still in the government. Everything's fine. There's nothing to worry about. There is no danger. That's why kind of the key crack code here is there actually is danger. Focus on safety, humanity. Individually, come together with those that are like-minded, that come together with those that actually focus on safety and making people feel safe as a profession. Go to those people that are brave. Go to those people that speak truth. Like me, as an example, this is brave what I'm doing, what I'm speaking. And there's many people out there that are being brave, speaking the truth, and have been for decades now. So those are the kind of people that you want to go to and flock to. But see, what they're doing is they wanted to say, see, you didn't need to listen to those people that we called conspiracy theorists for all of those years and all of those decades. We'll just tell you the information. This is what the reptilians or the governments are saying. See, we're telling you everything that's going on. We told you that Joe Biden was shot and now he was cloned. We told you that they were eating children and sacrificing children. See, you could trust us. You could trust us again now. See, it's just this kind of, you always could trust us, you see. But they want you to think that there is no danger. Okay, and they still have a focus on this colorist and this racist kind of identity. So for some reason, people that live in England and that are of the black or African type skin color are very important right now to start speaking up and speaking any kind of truth or becoming brave, speaking professionally and providing safety and support with people. Again, people with the black skin tone, they often have that open root chakra that is full of the safety, the tribe, the roots, the memory of humanity, which is where we all come from. No matter how your ancestral line goes, which I do think it is important for you to find how and where your ancestral line goes. Mine goes over to Ghana, it goes over India, the Swiss Alps. I mean, we're everywhere. We're all over Europe. Okay, I do think it is important to find that out for yourself. Okay, and this is what they also want you to steer away from. This is where it's such a flip. You have to see so many sides of all of this. So let's see. Like I said, they wanted you to think that there was no more danger. They wanted you to just let it go. Just let it go. Just forget about it. Instead of actually leveling up humanity. Don't start coming together, actually lose hope, because the New World Order will create your new systems and your new societies and Agenda 2030. And I hardly ever see anybody talk about initiative. I think it's 2041, or yeah, I think it's 41, not 40. Initiative 2041. That research I got into several years ago when I was looking to Ilana Freeland, because that talks about the Skynet, why they've been actually spraying these chemtrails and things like that. It's way more sinister than just, to kill people or whatever. But yeah, there's a huge warning. This video is meant to be a warning because these files are meant to intoxicate you. You're meant to drown in them. You're meant to spend all of your time reading them and never speaking or telling the truth about them, and never actually organizing, like I said, building your own community's humanity. They also want to hide from you that there is truth in this pain. All the pain that everyone is feeling, this is meant to bring you together to realize that we are interdependent. They also want to hide from you the fact that this brings resolution. This brings a type of ending for humanity, okay? They've got their own psychological warfare thing they're doing. But there is a truth that you need to start to make decisions based on what you do want in life. It doesn't matter what they're saying and with these files in a particular way. It's about what you want and what you need in your life. And I'm telling you, safety is important, okay? Because they almost want to numb you and sterilize you like a zombie, where you don't feel safe, you don't know what to do, and now next thing you know, you're wandering into a concentration camp or a repurposed Kmart, okay? So let me tell you some more information. This is just meant to clear and clean you up here, humanity, or whoever's watching, to give you awareness of the unexpected. You are a person who has awareness of the unexpected. Use that. Tell people about that. Tell people. It's better to tell other people that are brave about it, but tell whoever you want about it, okay? It is important that you find people that understand you. And if you do find people that misunderstand you, they could change their mind, but it's kind of not the time for that, because there's just too many consequences that they are throwing and putting out there. There's too many dangers that these reptilian systems have put out there. But like I was going on about earlier, so with these soul streams of reptilians, they have noticed there is a shift in them, and this is almost something that has never happened before. They are there's other timelines and dimensions where you could see this, yes, but this is quite unique for the human species right now, and for a species. Essentially, yes, the reptilians, there is a change of mind. What we would say in humanity is a change of heart. Also, we're being brought towards Edgar Cayce. We're being brought towards Edgar Cayce and the Association for Research and Enlightenment. That's in Virginia Beach. I've personally visited there multiple times. There's multiple floors to the place. I might as well have lived there for a certain amount of time. So again, they didn't want humanity to level up. But there is this feed, like I said, where reptilians, how they work is when a reptilian realizes something, it goes to the rest of the system. So that's the benefit of, if you know you're speaking to a reptilian, you can start to feed it things, and it will feed to the rest of the system, which is, we are positive and we are worthy of continuing our human species. I feel very passionate about this, having incarnated here from other planets and having particular lifetimes. I definitely, feel very connected to Lyra. As an example, Lyra or Lyra is very connected. There is a promise that they made to humanity that they will stick by and help humanity through this transition. And it is very authentic, it is very real. So do not forget that. Um, so let's see. They want you to be very downtrodden. They want you to think about the awareness of the downside of telling the truth. Who cares? We're so like far past that at this point. Let's see. Okay, so they didn't. The intention was is they didn't want. They didn't want the truth to set you free. So they gave you, that's why they blacked out certain things. You're not seeing systems change immediately. You're not seeing everybody getting paid out their $1,000,000 or $1,000,000,000 birth bonds. Jordan Maxwell, you can look into that kind of work. So they didn't want people to be set free or to set themselves free. They kind of wanted to take the power back from the individual human or from humanity. Honestly, that's what it's showing here. They wanted to control thoughts and they wanted to control words. So they wanted to take control of the narrative because, like I said, they saw humanity was awakening. Okay, they saw this. They saw humanity has actually already moved on past this. We've been very aware of these Epstein files and everything that's going on for quite some time. And so they wanted to put a halt and a stall to everything. They wanted to, oh, no, we got to go back to control. You know how it is when you see people losing control. They're just clenching for dear life. And there is that energy of them wanting humanity to get into that mode, and also because then they can do other control mechanisms, psychologically, warfare, and just like they did the pandemic, as well. That was just really psychological warfare is really what that was, and they confused and tripped everyone up, and then they isolated everybody. But it's just they want to manipulate your attention. That was the intention of it. And I know a lot of people know this, but it's good to have a confirmation and all the other information. The plan was to for humanity to not be able to pin down the truth, and for them to not look at the long term. They didn't want humanity to look at the long term. It's kind of like you could take it good or bad. They wanted you to go protest in the street instead of looking at how you could just start to come together, build a community, build buy land, and start to build energetic walls of frequency with crystals or whatever technology it is, so that you cannot be harmed. Or you could take it as protesting in the street being positive as well, and that they also wanted you to sit on your ass at home and just be fucking depressed. Okay, so it depends. Okay, it depends who you are, where you are. You have to look at your truth and where you are in humanity as well. So again, it was meant to make you question yourself, question reality, things like that. Okay, let's see. Let's see what else kind of the intentions of the reptilians were with this. They really thought they had won, you guys. The reptilians really thought that they had this in the bag, and I guess that was the thing, is they kind of sat back and they're like, yeah, we've been doing this for millennia. We're the cleanup species, when we just clean up humanity when it's acting like a parasite, when a species acting like a parasite, we just, and that's not to negate. There's a reason for this, because animals have been hurt on Earth. Okay, so humans. That's why I said tune into the gorillas. If there is a certain collective of animals I've been seeing a lot of dogs lately. So again, like loyalty to the humans. You know, you could start to talk to or tune into certain animals, whatever it is, to get back to earth and get back to nature. You know, I hear things like build a tree house in your backyard, you know, just with your kids, you know. It doesn't matter, it could just be like a few pieces of plywood or whatever, you know, it doesn't have to be something extravagant. But just getting back that one little step, little simplicity, people at a time. Then you have people coming over, gathering, you know, you're sharing kombucha, you know, something like this, you know, um, you know, something non-alcoholic, so you can actually follow through, hold people accountable, so you can follow through with the actions and the steps for building a community for humanity. You know, look at, you know, what the Rajneeshis did from India when they came to the United States of America, that spiritual or religious group. um, you know, the laws basically say, well, once you have, you know, in a particular area, what, 50 people, 100 people, whatever it is, you have your own city, you could create your own laws, you could have your own army, right? You know, so think a little bit here, humanity, you know, think creatively. That was what the Epstein files wanted to throw you off, you know, this release and how they did it and what they showed you and what they didn't and how long it took and the timing and all this stuff was to throw you off from actually becoming structured. You know, Archangel Metatron would be important right now. The Merkaba, Metatron's cube. These kind of high vibrational structures are important right now. The flying saucers, I'm not talking about the military of the negative sense flying saucers, but CDs, things like this. Think about reflections. Think about crystals and reflections and how this could deflect negative energies in an area. You start talking and get in tune with the ground again. Yes, start to talk to the native people of the land. See what they have to say. What are the rocks telling them? This is how you can you know, protect yourself. And actually it's more than that. It's not really that, it's how you can save humanity. So let's see. They didn't want you to shine. Okay, they wanted you to bog down. Okay, now everybody knows this information. Great, what can we do? Nothing we can do. We'll just wait around for the politicians to change and do something again. But you know what, always remember, right? So you have like Bobby Kennedy, right? Great guy. But you have him, you know, to change the fluoride in the water, right? But remember, who works at these plants, you know? Fucking humans. Humans like you and me, right? If we work there, we can go in there and just be like, we ain't putting the fucking fluoride in the water. You know what I'm saying? We work at the Coca-Cola plant. I'm not putting this high fructose corn syrup or this fucking aborted human fetal cell in here. Fuck that. I'm gonna put some, you know, natural fucking sugar in here, or I'm gonna put this, you know, high vibrational shit in here. I'm gonna fucking use my mind and bring in some angelic codes, whatever the fuck it is. Okay, it's just like the point is you can do it. You know, stop looking to the government to do it, because obviously they're fucking us off. You know, of course there's some good guys in there doing their thing and there's a divine mission and stuff, but humanity, you know, wake up, shine. You know, they didn't want us to shine. New moon in Leo. Okay, so again, sunflowers, that's all freedom. They did not want you to have your freedom and your autonomy. They wanted you to feel, oh, again, we gotta go back to sleep, but we gotta depend back on the system, you know, we gotta wait for them. No, there's oracles and there's psychics all over this world that can tell you, okay? Plenty of stuff. You don't need to wait for the fucking government to release, you know, somebody's name or somebody's file, okay? And these conspiracy theorists have been telling you forever what's been going on. People have been hung, people have been cloned. I'm telling you, there's really nothing to be afraid of. Okay, so anyway, you know, I mean, take that with a grain of salt. But again, they wanted you to, you know, fear being in danger while thinking that there is no danger. But there's a very thin line in between both of those truths. If you could see the rose in it. So again, yeah, the new moon as well, and the new moons talk about new beginnings, so releasing the old. So they didn't want you to really, like, you know, they wanted you to hang on to the fear, to the stress that, oh, you're controlled, these governments have been fucking you over forever, they continue to do it, they're the ones that control what's released, when's released. honestly, there's so much more I could say, but I'm only gonna end up saying so much. Okay, because of the current capacity that I am at the moment. But yeah, basically, again, you are meant to like release all of this stuff, but they want to kind of drudge it back up and be like, yeah, like let's just focus on, pedophilia and these satanic rituals, and just you have to follow Jesus and Christ, and the antichrist. I mean, these are all antics. This is a good Hollywood movie. This is really all it is. I mean, I'm kind of over it personally, but anyway, let's see. I want to see what else here. I'm going to take these. Let's see, what do we got here? There's a lot of interesting stuff, to be honest with you, but I don't think you need to know all of it, I think that you just have to keep going, is always the answer. So what they didn't see and what they did not bet on, the reptilians, and with the release of these files, and I want to tell you, by the way, with pedophilia, especially since when you look at just generic general statistics, you look at 1 in 5 little girls are molested. Okay, 1 in 5. Okay, so that's not only these governments and all this stuff. This is your fucking neighbors. This is your family. 1 in 5 little girls. If you know anything about crimes and molestation and sexual assault and whatever, it's usually very close to home. It's someone that it's a guidance counselor, it's someone in school, it's your, the person teaching you to ride horses, whatever, right? So, yeah, they did not bet on you knowing that you have autonomy, okay? They didn't bet on you knowing that you can go sue them, okay? And that you have a more creative intelligence even above their law, okay? Because if you know anything about the law, it's all about creativity. That's really all it really is, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's why they talk about loopholes and all this shit, and then they create new laws. I mean, people think the law and everything is set in stone, but no, that's why you go in court and you argue. But they also don't know that you realize that they don't even have any jurisdiction over you. You see what I'm saying? These reptilians, yeah, they knew that some people knew that. Yeah, we have a Costa Rican bird feather here as well, so there's a lot of freedom coming through. But yeah, as far as, like I said, they did not have an intention for you, humanity, to recognize your goodness. Okay, they did not think you were going to recognize your full potential. They did not have that intention for you to go on the right path. They did. I tell you, these people thought they had it in the bag. I'm telling you, you know that they did not think you were going to go with the flow, go with the universe, you were going to ride the waves. You know what I'm saying? They really didn't. I swear to God, see, I'm not even kidding or joking. These reptilians are low-key laughing, because you know what, they're almost like, I didn't want to do this job anyway. You want me to tell you the truth, but anyway, I'm telling you, there's some people that really like you. Some of these reptilians really like the humans, I swear to God. So yeah, there's a little bit of a change in there, but still, I will say you're dealing with danger. So again, you have to be able to see multifacetedly, and you have to learn in a way to learn to see on your own. And if you can't, you need to find people that you trust, or that feel authentic, or you keep listening to them until you find someone else, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, they didn't expect you to recognize humanity. That the attention was to block. Again, it's just more confirmation, more cards showing me that they were trying to block your gifts of your excellence, of your ability for compassion, of your ability to ascend, to become enlightened, to be professional, to be brave, to spend quality time with each other, to be interdependent on each other and support each other, and to depend on one another for whatever it is that you need. Okay. Yeah, so let's see what else. Oh my God. Yeah, so they didn't want you to be optimistic either. Again, I mean, this is basically everything that I said, but yeah, it's just another card. I won't show you the card, but because some of these cards are actually healing, they're portals. Like this one is a healing card. So if you look at it, it's helpful. This can help you activate your gifts and see how good you are. Humanity. This could actually see how good you are, how excellent you are, how smart you are, how intelligent you are, how brave you are, how truthful you are. Okay, how dependent you are on each other and how that's a good thing and a positive thing. Like that's natural to depend on people. That's a natural human thing. Um, Isolation is the quickest kill. That's why even the United Nations says that I think it's about 48 hours. They consider like fucking torture. Like they say that you can't even um, do like a terrorist torture on a terrorist for more than 48 hours. The United Nations says that. Meanwhile, we got people in prison or psychiatric wards in an isolation room for years. Okay, you riddle me that. Lawyers, what are y'all doing, bunch of reptilians? You see what I'm saying? I mean, seriously, really? It took a genius to figure this out? Read a piece of paper. Anyway, I'm just saying. Okay, y'all, so everybody get released, but y'all better be on y'all best behavior. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, activate your gifts, you know? Oh, yeah, but like I was saying too, yeah, pedophilia can be healed, actually. You don't gotta chop off people's dick and whatever. I mean, I don't know. Whatever you're doing, I ain't stopping you. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, chill. You know, don't come at me. I'm just telling you that it can be healed. You know, and Teal Swan talks about how to heal it as well. And you know, she's a pretty good advocate and one to look into that because she was ritualistically raped a lot. Okay, so I think she has, you know. Um, the nerve, the gall, the audacity, and the truth to be able to speak about that. You know, I think people ought to listen to her at least. You know, geez. So anyway, yeah, it can be healed, like she says. It's very true. And anyway, yeah, because it's not like you're born with it. It's not like, you know, you're born straight or you're born gay or something. You're not born a pedophile. Lord have mercy on y'all soul. You are not born a pedophile. You can fucking heal and change that shit, okay? Anyway, because like I said, you've got again, because see, they just want to exterminate everybody. That's why they want to kill everybody, because then you got nobody to protect you, you got no men to protect you, no humans. Instead of healing people, rehabilitating people, then you got people to defend you, protect you, keep humanity alive. You see what I'm saying here? There's a bigger picture, y'all. See, y'all really want to go against these, you know, reptilians or these systems or something. Y'all really need to wake up and stop going against your fellow human. You know what I'm saying? But we really don't want to go against nobody at the end of the day. We don't want to go against the reptilians or nothing. We trying to be friends. We trying to be close, you know. It's like, it's all good, you know. Softness and stuff like that. I love you, you know. You love me, Barney. We gonna clean up the house, whatever the song is, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, yeah, so 1 in 5 little girls are molested, and then 1 in 11 little boys are molested. That's a lot. Okay, and that's just what they tell y'all publicly. So, yeah. Okay, moving on here. So they wanted y'all to have no optimism. That was the intention. You know, again, it was to really make you bog down and like, so they could just roll out this, you know, new world order of the negative. You know, um, and they're even telling me personally. They're like, wow, we really made a mistake with you. Yeah, you think anyway. We just weren't really, you know, compatible too, and they kind of didn't want you to see too that you know, we're just not compatible with reptilians, really. You know, I mean, it's just they kind of wanted to hide that, you know. So they just kind of wanted to be superior and all that kind of stuff. Again, they did not want humanity to know that it has inherent gifts, you know, and that it only not only has inherent potential gifts, but that it can also develop gifts. And people could teach you and stuff like that. So they just wanted you in hopelessness. They wanted you to think that you were just projecting all the time. They wanted you to think that they were helping you, you know, stuff like that. But let me see. I want to see another card. Excuse me. Uh-huh. Yeah. So, I mean, basically, they wanted you they still wanted to keep so much and all of this secret. You know what I'm saying? Like they still wanted this to all kind of exist in the blind spot. So it was like it's kind of like a way for them to just, write over things or something like that. Um not quite sure what the Lord have mercy. Anyway, um they also have an intention with these Epstein files to make you think that there is that these sexual behaviors come with some kind of spiritual justification. So be on the lookout for that next if you haven't already seen that. They want you to think that everything that they've done has a spiritual justification. There's a spiritual reason that they did it. It's right. It's good. They could even pull something from an old tribe and be like, oh, look, see, the old tribes or the ancients, they did this. They did a blood sacrifice. All this, it's good. It's enlightenment. It's the Lord. It's the Son. And it's like, no. It's really not, because that kind of philosophy is in paralysis, okay? So that's their own problem. They got to deal with those reptilians, So they got a bit of a little awakening they didn't expect here too. Lord have mercy. Oh my God, they didn't expect they was gonna like some of these humans. I'm gonna tell y'all that shit's funny. Anyway, but like I said again, humanity, like don't scapegoat yourself. Or anything. That's one thing. But yeah, definitely tune into the gorillas, tune into the birds, because the birds talk and sing all the time. They always have a message, and they'll tell you, like, humans, like, we need you, like, step up, like, support your environment, support each other, support us, like, we're here too. We want to thrive. We want all of the fruit trees and all of the vegetation and everything and the flowers beautiful here. um so yeah, they basically they wanted you to think that everything was your problem, and that they also wanted you to think that you cannot call in any gods, any guides, any angels, any goddesses, any frequencies, any vibrations, whatever, any deities. They wanted you to think that you couldn't do that, as well. And yeah, they wanted you to think that. Let me hold on a second. They also wanted you to think that, like, you could only call on Jesus, and they wanted you to get really caught up in this whole antichrist thing and the second coming, and from their narrative they wanted to confuse you. Yeah, of course, call on Jesus, whatever, call on whatever you want to, that's great, but they wanted you to think that there was only one path, if you will. Again, you have to see multifaceted, but in a negative way is how they wanted you to see it. So yeah, they wanted to hide from you beings like, I'm hearing green Tara, Tara, which you'll find relations to Guan Yin with that. And then of course white Tara, red Tara, black Tara, blue Tara, all often invoked for different purposes. So that's very beautiful. Blue Tara and black Tara, I believe, are often um, invoked for especially for things like protection, if there's like immediate danger and things like that. So again, that can be very good to have these statues around, when you want to focus on safety as well. But yeah, have your statues of Jesus and everything like that. Mother Mary, don't forget about Mother Mary. People forget about Mother Mary as well. Because Mother Mary grants wishes, but they try and trip you up. Oh, that's bad. That's like a jinn. You can't be asking Mother Mary to grant you a wish. Honey, yeah, you can. Mother Mary, low-key an oracle, let Mother Mary alone, Lord. Again, they try to sexually pervert everything, So let me see. They wanted you to believe, humanity, that you didn't want to see the truth. They wanted you to believe that it was your fault that the Epstein files hadn't been released until now. Lord have mercy. These people are really on another level. So they really wanted you to think like, oh yeah, it's your fault, humanity, that we haven't released them and we hadn't told you till now. Y'all just weren't ready. Y'all are just stupid. Like a little kid, asking their mom, like, so how do babies get here? And your mom, like, freaking out like she can't tell you a goddamn thing or something. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, Lord. I'm just saying, like, anyway, we won't get into that conversation today. But yeah, they wanted you to think that it was your fault, basically, that the files hadn't been released until now, that you didn't have the emotional capacity or the brain capacity or psychological capacity to endure or take this or to know what was going on. So and in a sense, yes, I mean, this is not an easy feat to find out and understand what's going on. But the point of getting at here, the intent, the negative intent, you're going to perceive it as negative, is they didn't they wanted you to think you were stupid. You see, it wasn't about, oh yeah, like this is a lot of information, because this would be how a rational, natural human positive person would think, okay, this is actually a lot, of information, kind of like with a child, right? You're not going to go walk up to a 6-year-old and start, telling them all of your trauma out of nowhere, like sure, that's true, but they had a detention on the opposite end. When that child is asking, they wanted you to think, you being the child in this scenario, that you were just stupid, that you were not capable of knowing or thinking or understanding. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't to help you or to be kind or to be protective or compassionate or loving or caring to your nervous system or your other systems or your experience here, right? Because of course there are beings and spiritual beings that they do keep things, because they don't want to overwhelm you and harm you when it's not necessary, right? But see, they're taking so much spiritual truth and they're perverting it, just like groups of people out there spiritually gaslighting. I mean, you could talk, that's just a whole other, that could go on for days to talk about that. But yeah, essentially, so yeah, they definitely they didn't ever really want you to see what I'm telling you right now. Yeah, truthfully, the truth is, yeah, they just wanted humanity to die. So they're kind of sitting there scrambling a little bit at the moment. Let's just, for the fun of it, because I like doing this. I like getting the cards, and honestly, I haven't even pulled that many cards yet. But yeah, I'm just gonna get some more cards. Show me more about the intentions. Yep, there it is again. Look what you got. Moving forward in reverse. Could you believe this? These motherfuckers. Anyway, because there's so many sides to it. That's where my expression right there comes from. There's so many sides to it. There's the people out there that were telling you for years what was going on, and now all of a sudden, they're telling you, oh yeah, well this is a mind control thing and blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, well, where were you 10 years ago when the rest of us were telling you what was going on, and you all were treating us like we were insane, and we were having to regulate our nervous systems and everything like that. Meanwhile, they are telling a lot of these people a lot of truth. Yes, this is definitely, and there is a bit of there is a psychological warfare going on. So yeah, this is pretty self-explanatory. Basically, just it's meant to halt humanity and seeing how good they are and from moving on. So when you look at this, you can actually, this will help you to move on and move forward. Yeah, they wanted to halt twin flame relationships, people speaking from the heart. They wanted you to halt your meditation. They wanted you to stop seeing the person in front of you. They wanted you to stop connecting to the human's heart in front of you. They just wanted you to see color, ethnicity, race, nationality. That's all they wanted. Big fish, small fish, a lot of money, no money, middle class, owns an island, doesn't own an island, model, not a model, came from money, didn't come from money, and all the nuances in between. They didn't want you to see the heart of humanity. They did not want you to move forward. They were like, you know what? We're over the, the reptilians are out there. They're like, you know what? We're over this. So we've been dealing and putting up with y'all too long. Y'all been fucking up the species and all these other people and whatever. And we're scared of you in some instances, if you will. Uh, my human translation. And they're like, we're done, we're trying to just nick you guys at this point, basically. But you, humanity, are moving beyond all this. You are actually moving beyond. You're actually seeing now. You're catalyzing it. You're alchemizing it and realizing, you know what? I'm going to take all this bad stuff or this bad shit I went through and I'm going to fucking, I am going to make a mountain out of a fucking molehill and I'm going to live in the fucking mountain. You know what I mean? Something like that. You're going to build now. You're going to go out there and you're going to build the house. You're going to work on the land. You know what I'm saying? You're going to grow the vegetables. You're going to talk to your fucking neighbors. You're going to get into community. You're going to, support your nervous system. You're going to support holistic practitioners. You're going to support people that have been on this journey and forerunners for a long time. You're going to, you're going to come together and start to not see so many differences. And when you do see differences, like, oh yeah, okay, so that person has lived their whole life in Nigeria, or that person's lived their whole life in China. Oh, I bet they know about Chinese medicine. That's really important. They could teach us and tell me that, because in the United States we don't really learn about that too much. Or you see what I'm saying? Or, oh, they're from the United States, they must be very endeavorous. I bet they could do really good at investing and creating us a business over here so we could start a company. You see, so it is good to learn people's differences and where they come from and everything like that. And oh my god, you have black skin, that means you have really good organs. We could potentially use that energy to support an entire community or so on and so forth in a positive way, not a siphony kind of way. But and that's why too they don't want you to speak the truth, and they don't want you to say black is black and white is white, because then, like, you don't realize someone's differences or someone's uniqueness, and then you can't put people where they would fit and work better, right? That's like if you're a steering wheel in the car but you put yourself in the gas tank, or if you're a steering wheel in the car and you put yourself as the wheel in the car, it's like, well, why don't you put the wheel as the wheel and the gas tank as the gas tank and the engine as the engine, instead of being like, oh, we're all the fucking engine. And it's like, well, really, where's the rest of the car? You know what I'm saying? So but yes, we are all a part of the car. So yes, we all are a part of each other. Yes, we are all the same in that way, because guess what all of the pieces of this car want to do in humanity? We want to get it moving. We want to move forward, right? Let me see. They know that we're desperate. They know humanity is desperate to move forward. So, you could take that both sides as to why those files were released. But yeah, they also, yeah, they just didn't want you to realize that, like, you could move forward, humanity. And then, excuse me. Yes, but also that you can have whatever you want. You can have whatever you like. That is so true. That is the truest line ever in a song. You can have whatever you like. You can have whatever you want. They did not. They wanted you to be like, nope, there's only this system, and this system leads you to slaughter. And that's all there is. And the only thing you can do is pray to God, pray to Jesus Christ, and the Antichrist is coming and slaughter. That's it. That's really the end result. Sorry, Christians, to tell you, but that was really the whole plan that they was doing with this whole Antichrist and Jesus thing. Yes, of course, Jesus, is a real being, and there are people that, Jesus was like 16 different consciousness soul streams from the Pleiades, okay? So y'all need to wake up too. See, they don't want you to contact your star family, y'all. Gifted and talented people, gate program, search people, Hollywood people, celebrities. They don't want you to contact your star families and get in tune with those people too. That's why they always told y'all were crazy. That's why they would be like, some people would go to their therapist or the psych ward. It just depends on what kind of therapist you get. Some people, you tell your therapist about aliens and they're like, yeah, that's true. Other people, they'd be like, oh no, we're gonna inoculate you for 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't want you to connect with these higher and these other beings. They definitely didn't want you to find out where Jesus fucking came from. Where do you think that motherfucker came from? Yeah, from source, but that motherfucking stream was coming from Pleiades. And that consciousness, that Christ consciousness has returned to the earth. So see, there is a power in here. Christ consciousness is here. It is back on the earth. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So like, you could choose to be the Christ and the Christ consciousness, and that's what a lot of people forgot. That was written even all in the Bible and was talked about and said about. You know, again, they didn't want to. They didn't want you to see no superiority, no inferiority, no even, no equal. They didn't want you to see that you were all one, because they were like, we don't have time for this. We got a job to do. We to clean up species, try to get rid of them. You know, it's like you in your house and you got flies and parasites. You like just inoculate the whole place. You know, just bomb it. Just we don't have time. You know, and I think too, you have to understand, there's that's where the animals as well, they're like, humanity, please wake up, because these reptilians, because of, you know, y'all's behavior and so on and so forth, you know, they want to really destroy the place. And guess what, we live here too, you know. So it's like, you know, it's kind of interesting, because these reptilians act like, you know, they just all this, that, and the other, but they've out here killing some other species as well. All this poison that's been going on, they've been doing. How many whales and sharks and dolphins and shit like that are washing up dead? But yes, like I said, humans fucking run these businesses. I mean, yeah, sure, they got clothes out there, they got robots, they control the shit, that's true. But you gotta remember, look at all those doctors that instead of giving people the COVID vaccine, I'm gonna shuffle this deck. This is like a Day of the Dead kind of deck. Yeah, I like this. I love these colors of this deck. It's a Mexican deck. It's a Spanish deck, really. But I love these colors, the red, white, and blue. I love those American colors, that red, white, and blue. They so pretty together. But anyway, yeah, see, Archangel Michael don't even want America to fall. Y'all don't even understand what's going on here. This is crazy. Y'all always calling for something to fall. Don't even realize you calling for yourself to fall. That's why we ain't calling for no reptilians to fall. Or not, no, the species, they can figure it out. You just got to have somebody that will work with it. You know what I'm saying? There's always somebody. I mean, humans are unique. Look at humans. Humans be getting so, you know, into anything, so interested. I mean, do they find a new insect? Like, and how can we reproduce the insect? You know, it's just like these, yeah, I mean, it's a good thing. It's cool. But what was I gonna say? I don't know, they got me. Oh, apparently, like, yeah, today it's about laughter. Like, laughter is the best medicine, too. Laugh your way into safety, I guess. Remember, your power is your potential, humanity. But yeah, they definitely wanted you pretty, like, downtrodden. Let's see. Oh yeah, about the humans. Yeah, like I was saying, like there was plenty of human doctors that gave people saline and the injections and the COVID vaccines instead of all of that crap that was in there to mess up, you know, us moving forward, humanity. So, yeah, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you like. Yeah, exactly. It don't matter what job you work in. Yeah, they in there. I don't care. You work at the KFC and they using some nasty ass oil that who knows what fucking human meat they got in there. I don't care. Come up in there, buy some coconut oil and put some coconut oil in there. Look, maybe you ain't got no money. Maybe you just do it one time. I don't care. And then go tell somebody. I don't know. Maybe you don't want to tell somebody you don't want to get fired, but who knows? You never know who gonna hire you after you do something like that. You know what I'm saying? I'd be willing to hire somebody like that. I'd be like, that's brave. So yeah, focus on bravery, you know, because we want to save humanity. Move forward. We're creative. We got potential. So let's see. I want to see what else. Yeah, so the outcome was that they wanted people. Yeah, they wanted people to not believe women too. They wanted you to be confused about that, but they wanted so much dumping and truth out there and all this crap that they didn't want people to take oracles, truth tellers, truth slayers seriously for what they wanted to make a big joke out of everything, but they didn't realize that we're better jokers. So anyway, um, yeah, they again, there was just an intention to cause confusion and not where the truth, know where the truth is coming from. So it's like, okay, well, here's the government saying something true. I guess I should believe them, or maybe I shouldn't because they've been lying the whole time. And you could just go, that train of thought you could just go on with forever to like 100 different perspectives of thoughts, right? And those are the 100 perspectives of thoughts they wanted you to take and go down the line of, instead of just moving forward, creating communities, focusing on your family, focusing on love and safety and stuff like that. How people can be more dependent, interdependent on each other and get needs met. So they actually did not, they wanted the outcome to be that the truth would not set you free. There's a lot coming out here about the truth, of them wanting the truth to not set people free, people to not find freedom in the truth, people to not realize that their path is the truth. They wanted you to feel like that there would be no new beginnings for abundance, no new beginnings in money and finances, no way to start a new system or your own new systems. Let's see. Let me get a clarifier on this card. Yeah, I mean, they definitely didn't want you to believe in magic, too. I'll tell you that. Magic is very real. How do you think we got here, But yes, there's mechanics to things. Quantum mechanics, So they wanted you to stay in isolation was the outcome. That was the point of it. They wanted you to stop what you were doing, stop your bravery. They wanted you to stop spending quality time with your family, your husband, your twin flame, your kids, your community. Even if you're in a church, they wanted you to stop going to church. They wanted you to stop congregating with people in your neighborhood. They wanted the kids at the playground to stop playing with each other. They wanted everybody to be scared of everybody. Oh my God, like, don't let my kids talk to anybody. Like, don't let my kids sleep over at someone's house. Like, they might be a predator. Like, as though, as though you don't have any awareness and you can't pay attention or put certain things into place, so on and so forth. Anyway, they didn't want humanity to get its prizes, to get public recognition and achievement. They didn't want you guys to be in self-confidence. They just wanted you isolating. They wanted everybody reading these files to be like this. Yeah, seriously. But yeah. Anyway, let's see. I'll just see over here what the intention was here with this. I find it very interesting as well that I said at the beginning of this video, because now we're going to hit the romance deck. That's what's got me back on this. I find it very interesting that they also were intending to stop like marriages and romantic loves. Again, they wanted people to be very in fear of like, oh my God, what if my husband is a child molester or a future child molester, or what if they're a pedophile? And yeah, there was very much this kind of trying to break of bonds in the way that they did it. It's not necessarily about what was released. It was the way that it was released. I mean, again, what do they do anyway? They just dumped it on you. Like, yeah, what kind of crap is that? Where's the support now? Where's the safety for everybody? Where's the safety for humanity? Where's the support? Where are people getting comforted and feeling better? Where are the safe houses? Where are the, etc. It's the way that they did it. It's not the information itself. Okay. Yep. So they wanted you to feel like, stabbed in the back. Again, they also wanted you to believe that people cannot heal from pedophilia. Okay? And that would mean a reduction in romantic adult love, because if you could heal somebody from pedophilia, well, now that these people have the chance and the opportunity to come together and even procreate for humanity. And they wanted you to feel like everybody's gonna stab you in the back. Every romantic relationship is gonna stab you in the back. Your partner doesn't understand, what's going on in the world. They wanted it to be a shock. They literally did this so you would be shocked, and it would ruin your relationships romantically. So let's say like you have a husband and you're married right now, or a wife, or you're in a romantic relationship right now with one person or multiple people. They wanted that to break up. They wanted how they dumped the files was meant to be a shock. It wasn't meant to, you know, be a truth and soothe and help heal the nervous system, right? It was about to like this and to divide. So now you're like this. It's like now you're, you know, say I'm the wife and I'm like this, and then say the husband is over here and the husband is like this with our backs to each other, instead of embracing each other with like a horse of freedom forward movement, which is the way that if you want goodness or humanity to continue forward, that's the way we would have done it, with a more safety netting, with a more, okay, now we need to spend quality time. Okay, everybody, you know, everybody, we're taking off of work. The whole world, we're spending, you know, where everybody's getting paid, you know, $1 million for this psychological warfare we did on you. And you don't have to, you know, fucking go to work for like, you know, a couple weeks or whatever. And in the meantime, everybody's going to get together and start to build new systems. No, they didn't do that, right? No, they dropped it on you. So it would create separations between you and everyone else. And then you'd be like, oh yeah, like I knew this for years and nobody fucking listened to me. And then everybody's like, I don't fucking remember that. I still fucking hate you. Like, literally, like, this was just a huge deception, and it was meant to cause pain, even romantically. Like, it was meant to make you feel like you was stabbed in the back, and meant to resurface all of these bad feelings. And then also, it's meant to make you feel like you're constantly being watched, you're constantly being looked at, you're constantly being stalked. And it was also meant to be a gaslight, you know. And again, I mean, that's a whole other rabbit hole with that, especially for people who have known about this kind of what's been going on for decades. Is meant for you to keep your attention over here instead of in here. Okay, so what does my family need today? What can I do to make my family feel safe? What can I do to enact some kind of bravery within myself for my family, to spend more time with my family? How can I be more professional in my life? How can I be more clean in my communication and my understanding with people in my life? How can I be more appropriate? How can I be more understanding? They didn't want you to really get, you know, catch on and be like that. So again, they just wanted you kind of stuck in this whole like, oh my God, like you're constantly, everyone's being watched, every email is being read. And it's kind of like, well, good, maybe we'll learn something. You know what I mean? And maybe what you'll learn is that you can free yourself and you could choose differently, like to move forward. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was meant to, I mean, none of these are good romantic cards that came out. So it was definitely meant to do a bit of a screw up there. I pretty much got from every deck now. But since we already went over the 1 hour time limit, I'll just do a little bit more, and I'll see like actually what's your medicine right now, humanity. I mean, I gave you guys a lot of medicine, honestly, throughout everything I told you, but let's see what other kind of medicine, what would be helpful for you to focus on right now. I'll do this. How about if you are single? If you are single, it would be helpful for you to focus on empathy. So start taking on the perspectives of others and understand them, feel what they feel, and be able to put yourself in their place. So, you know, like the victims, start to feel how those victims felt that were sexually abused and sexually assaulted and that were experimented on by Bill Gates and things like that. Start to vicariously feel their feelings, you know. Start to feel, you know, the experience of how those people feel, their thoughts, their attitudes, and their actions, and think, you know, what would they want? What would they need? They would want safety. They would want stability. They would want support. They would want quality time with people. So if that's you going out and helping and being with survivors of sexual abuse or assault, or you creating safe havens, or whatever it is, you know your own life uniquely, so kind of take it that way. And then let's say, like, say you have a family, like you're married or something. I'll do with kids. Okay. And then I'll do without kids. So if you don't have kids, focus on your reputation. Focus on having a positive reputation. Okay, so you can support people in any way, shape, or form, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, and now and in the future. Focus on having a good and positive reputation, a positive professional reputation, a brave reputation, someone who pays attention to their character, who cares about their behavior and their performance, and is favorable to the public. You relate to the public, you understand the public. Okay, that's going to be important for interdependence here. This is interesting. The other one is telling you to focus on the West and the heart. So I'm getting California with that. California and China. I'm going to get you another one for those people. Popularity. Focus on being well-liked. Focus on being admired, supported by many people, being in favor with people. So again, that makes sense. So that would be hitting probably anybody that watches this, especially, on the West Coast. That would be really important for you to focus on your popularity and how you can use your popularity to benefit yourself or others, how you could do whatever you like, how you could get whatever you like, how you could be in favor with others, or how you already are. All these two could be just how you are. It's just meant to awaken and, stay focused on that. In other words, look at your marketability. Look at how you can be in demand, stay in demand, or be in demand, like get into demand. So yeah, this isn't a personal reading, so I'm not gonna go like too deep on any of that. But I think I'll get one more card here. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna get some more cards. Who knows? Okay, give me some medicine for the people watching this video. Humanity, some medicine for humanity directly here after everything we've talked about. Let's see, what do we got? What do we got to do? Okay. Interesting. Yeah, definitely focus on your own North Stars, whatever your own North Star is, humanity. Whatever your own, highest values are. Like, I don't care, like, if it's, religion, then fine, study your religion more. What are the highest, morals in your religion and values? Is it kindness? Is it helping your neighbor? Do that. It's not about promoting your religion. It's about what are your own internal values, and focus on those values. So let me see here. Let's see. Okay, humanity, slow and steady wins the race. And I feel like humanity is already doing this. Like, the vibe that I'm getting from the collective, from the people that I'm seeing that are reading these files, is they're doing this. You are carrying this kind of medicine already. You are saying the right things at the right time. You are being positive. You're releasing the correct information at the correct time. It's very helpful, whatever you're doing. So, slow and steady wins the race. So this is a kind of aether creature, by the way. This is what came out. This is the medicine. So you might want to call this in, which looks like a deer. Okay, so deers have been really important for this year as well. It's basically a message like, quit rushing. Like, you don't need to rush. With anything that you're learning, anything that you're reading, anything that you're doing, anything that you're implementing, anything you're creating, there's no need to go too fast or to rush it. you can definitely go slow, take your walks, take deep breathers, drink your lemonade, take care of yourself, be healthy, definitely like get with other people you could co-regulate with, and people that are warm, you could breathe with, drink your lemonade with. When you look at accomplishing any small task, like whatever if you are reading the files or something like that, just reading one line is small and noble, okay? Or just waking up and writing one sentence in your journal is small and noble, okay? So yeah, I mean, just make sure along this path that you're on that there are built-in rewards to the end of your goal, humanity, which is to move forward, which is the new earth. So don't just like rush into it. Make sure that, slow and steady wins the race. Make sure that you are getting some rewards along the way, and you build in these rewards. Let's see. Let's see. So positive outcomes will be, as you slow and steady wins the race, you will get out of this lack of progress kind of area, this disconnected family area, and the lack of long-term visions. So going slow is gonna be okay. And then yeah, beautiful. Yeah, the outcome is definitely going to end up being pure positivity. You can't get a better card than the sun for pure positivity. So, literally, beautiful. And when we started this reading, we started with the 1111 homecoming card. So you're getting some of the best cards, and like I said, it's the sun. It's over. We won. Optimistic, confident, truth, positive outcomes, warmth, success, pure positivity, ultimate happiness and joy. Beautiful. Good luck, everybody, with your family and yourself and your reconnections and the earth and your connection to the grass.